welcome to the next episode. Today we'll be building some kind of application where we can change and have fun with our Pokemons. So we will be using Pokemon API, where we can find out which Pokemon we would like to have, what that Pokemon of skills have, what the image of Pokemon is. You've got a lot of possibilities to have fun with it. We mainly will focus on three of them. As you can see, we'll get the height, the weight, and the type of the Pokemon, and of course, the image, how is it look like. Okay, so what we need? We need, first of all, to create our folder. And we need to go to inside of the folder. In my case, it's Pokemon app. And right there, write npm init-y to initialize our Node application. Because in that video, we will be using mostly and only Node.js, Express.js, Handlebars to handle our front end, we can call it, and Axios to fetch the data. Also, we'll use Handlebars in the Express version to handle the Express. And of course, the most important Pokemon PokeAPI. So we can call it RESTful Pokemon API, which is free and you can visit it right there. And I will make and write down all the links that you need in the description. So okay, when we are at our terminal, we need to install the dependencies that we need. First of all, we need Axios to fetch to get our data from internet. Also, we need Express to route. We need also handlebars and also Express handlebars. And the last thing that we need something more or not. We've got Express, handlebars, Node, and Axios, and that's all. Okay, and we press enter. We'll wait a minute, maybe not even a minute, few seconds, and in the meantime, we can create a index.html.js file. Sorry. Okay, when we are inside our index.js file, we can start writing our code. First, we need to import required modules. So first is Express, and we'll require Express. The next thing that we need is, of course, Axios to get our data. We can make it in another way, but to make it clear, to make it faster, we will use Axios. And the last one will be using Express handlebars to handle our front-end application, we can call it. But it will be our default layout of a page that will dynamically change when we just change the Pokemon name. Why we are using also the handlebars? Because if you would like to explore and make that application bigger, you can easily do that with the handlebars. You just add some forms and that's all, because we will not do that in that way. And we need also our Express handlebars. Okay, we need require Express handlebars, and that's all with our imports. The next thing, we need to initialize our Express application, and we do that like that. The next thing, we need to set up our instance of the Express handlebars engine with the default layout. We'll call it main. To make that, we just make const HBS, and inside our const HBS we create the create. Inside that we create default layout and we call it main. Okay, when we just got it, we need to register the Handlebars engine for our Express application. So we got it, app.engine, engine, and our engine is handlebar, and we'll be using hbs.engine. The last step that we need to make our handlebars work with our application is to set it. So we set the handlebars as the default view engine for our Express application. So app.set, and we get the view engine, and inside that view engine we call handlebars. Okay, and is that all what we need to create to handle our handlebars. Okay, the next step that we need to create, we don't have to, but we will create right now some kind of route that will handle our search for the Pokemon from the API that we'll be using. To make it happen, we just go to app and define get route, and we can call it, for example, Pokemon and the Pokemon name. And we need to make it async function, asynchronously function, because we will be using Axios and we'll be waiting for the response later on. So request, response, and inside that we'll write our logic. So we'll create try catch block. Okay, and inside our try we will get the name from our request.params. So from our that name that you can see, and I highlighted right there, we'll get the name from that. Also we can write something like that, but we are lazy and we prefer to create in that simple way. Okay, we get the param, and right now when you just go back to our PokeAPI, we can check what we need and how it will work the API. So we need the PokeAPI.co/API/v2/Pokemon/ and the name of the Pokemon. Okay, and to make it happen, we will create some kind of, I don't know, we can call it response, and await right here Axios.get, and we will get the API that we just got over here. So we can copy and paste it over here. The only thing that we need to change is the two things that we have to adjust is that we need to call it over here our name, and to make it happen we need to change it to temple literal. Okay, and it's all working, and it should be working. We'll see if everything's working later on. Okay, we can save it, and right now we will get our Pokemon from there, from the response that data. So from that we'll just assign the value that we will receive, the data that we will receive from there, to the Pokemon variable. Why? Because we need to render that Pokemon to make it dynamically in our handlebars, so inside our view engine. And to make it happen, we will just render, and we'll call the file Pokemon, and we'll pass our Pokemon inside that file, that it will be handled by that. Okay, and inside our catch we only need to check, we only need to serve if there is some error with our Pokemon, for example, name, or that API does not work correctly. So first that send 404, and then we will need to render. We'll call it error, and we'll pass, because you don't have to pass the whole object like that. You can, for example, pass something like one thing. In our case, it will be Pokemon not found, Pokemon something does work, something does not work, Pokemon not found. Okay, and we just got almost everything inside our index.js. The last thing, we need to create our port. It will be 3000 as always, and app.listen as a port to start our Express application, and to check if everything's correct, console.log server is working. Okay, and right now we've got the whole, maybe not the whole, but the most of the things that we need to inside our, oh, not the most, we've got everything that we need inside our JS application. So we are done with Node, Express, Axios, but right now we will go inside the new things, I mean views, and inside our views we will create handlebars. Okay, first we'll create the main handlebars. It will be inside our default layout main, and we have to create inside the views the layout, the main layout, and it will be layouts, and inside that layout we will need to create main.handlebars. Okay, and as you can see, we are inside our layouts and our main.handlebars. We can create the HTML file easily, and the only adjustment that we need is to create title over here and body over here. The next thing that we need is to go to the views to create our, as I remember, we call it Pokemon handlebars. And inside that Pokemon handlebars, we will handle the Pokemon that we will just receive. First thing that we can create is like Pokemon, and we get the name from the Pokemon, and the title will change every time. Pokemon info, and the title will change each time that our Pokemon will change also. Okay, it will be, first of all, we'll create our Pokemon name. So if we would like to search and look for Pikachu, we can pass it right there. The next thing that we need is to create our image. Image, if we'll just go here, is quite deep over here. I can show you, because when we just go to sprites, we are over here and we've got our image almost at the end of that bar. As you can see, there are thousands of possibilities that we can do with that only one Pokemon. You can create a lot of it, but right now we only have that one, that the thing that will show us the possibilities of the images and the very basics of height and weight. You can adjust it as you would like to. Just go to, for example, that Pokemon slash and the name of the Pokemon you would like to, go through the whole file, and you can find out a lot of options that you can pass and get inside and create your own variation of that. Okay, so right now we'll just go to sprites and from default, and the next thing that we should create in our image is alt. That will be our Pokemon.name. Okay, Okay, no, that's all. That will be all. We don't need anything more. And the next thing, we can create, for example, h2, and it will be height, and we'll pass Pokemon.height. And we also will create h2 weight, and we'll get Pokemon.weight. And the last thing that we just would like to have is the type Pokemon and also the name of the Pokemon. So the types of the Pokemon, because as you know, if you were watching Pokemon, the one Pokemon can have more than one type, and for that we have to go through each element that type's Pokemon will have and iterate through that. So for each Pokemon types, does that type, and we'll get to that name. And the last thing that we used to have, the almost last thing, unless it is lost, sorry, and slash unless, sorry, and the last thing, slash each. And that's all that we need to handle inside our Pokemon handlebars. And the last thing that we'll handle inside our view, it will be error.handlebars. And inside that error handlebars, we create HTML file. Also, we only have to create error, Pokemon not found, and for example h1, and we'll pass message that we just pass over here to our error component. Okay, we can also create some kind of href that will pass to, for example, Pokemon slash I don't know, Pikachu, and go back and see Pikachu. Okay, and with that in mind, the only thing is to test out if everything's working correctly. So node index.js, wait a second, we need to go over here, refresh our application, and something doesn't work. We need to see if we can go to Pikachu. Okay. Okay, something doesn't work correctly. We need to check if the name of the application is correct. Oh, go back. Oh, we pass Pokemon over here. You can also double check everything if everything's work as it should. I see that I don't create everything correctly. We'll just open it again, go here, try to recreate it, and still something does not work. Why is it not working? So why is that working? It's not working because of that thing. And if we assign it over here, whoa, we need to redone our application, recreate it, and right there we've got our Charmander over here. The only thing that we need also to change is our source file. So we go to the Pokemon and there is sprites. Also, we need to recreate our application and recreate it. And as you can see, everything's working as it should. So it will be all for today's video. I hope you like it, enjoy it. If you have any ideas for the next application that we can build together, or how we can create another one, or just expand that one that we just built, leave the comment below. I hope you have quite a good time. See you then. Bye.